All right. OC, welcome to the show, bro. How you doing? You okay? Let's get started with this. This is quite an interesting subject I want to show you, basically, so you can see the thumbnail. Well, this is actually not. I just made the thumbnail, so but I want to show you all of this, some of this stuff I'm seeing. Remember, I've been talking about how we've been bouncing on a specific line. Um, one second. OC, let me know if the audio is good, bro. Because I'm not sure if the audio is good or not. Double check. Let me know if audio's coming through. So we bounced off this line. We're coming up, but I see a little bit more data here, right? And I've kind of mentioned this quite a few times. I've on other charts as well. I've said, look, we're seeing this bullish pattern forming here. But when I'm looking closer and I'm zooming right into it, guys, I'm seeing there's this bearish divergence forming here, right? It's starting to look a little bit bearish. It's starting to look a little bit dull, and that kind of makes me worry a little bit. I mean, of course, we can easily reverse back and do quite a few more things and move up again, and everything should be super awesome. But I don't know why it just doesn't make any sense when I'm looking at this. It just doesn't make any sense, right? You know, we're looking at this, we can see a red candle, we know we were expecting a red candle, but what I'm seeing here, I just kind of messed up, right? So what's going on? KR's here as well. Awesome KR. Still in, so he's at a wedding, he's still tuning in. Awesome. OC says audio is awesome. El Bubble's here as well. Awesome, El Bubble, thank you very much for coming to the show. Let's see what's going on. So guys, if you're new to the show, subscribe. If you're old to the show, you smash that like button, okay? And let's get the people out there to know what's going on, okay? Remember, I'm not the best at entertaining people, but I'm here and I'm good at giving you facts. So we want to look at this weekly chart, right? This is a weekly chart, and on this weekly chart, we're seeing how, you know, we've come out of this 21-week moving average where we were down here, and you can see we broke out of this on August, right? And since August we've been super solid, and a lot of people have not been noticing this, right? We saw a little bit of a dip forming here, absolutely fine, no harm at all, but we saw this coming and bouncing on that 50-week last week, right? Or this week, we're going to close this week today, right? We see this. We also see that approximately 50% of this candle, where it was totally bearish, right, has been recovered, and we can see that there's bullish action on this. We can see we're holding on to that 21-week right now. Everything is super solid. But what this is showing me says not entirely. There may be a different story. So I wanted to see what the different story was, right? And what I did was I just said, okay, let me see what the story is right now. And I activated I'm not sure if you know, the Hikinashi, this one here, Hikinashi, right? It's a Japanese candle, and it's kind of a cleaner way of looking at things. So, you know, sometimes I use my line chart where I'll just use a clean line chart to show you the open and close. What the Hikinashi also does something very clean as well. It takes the noise out and just shows you what's bearish and what's bullish. And so far, what we see here is bullish, and then coming here, and then we became bearish. We see all of this, right? Which is awesome. They like to hear we go to the moon, but no, we got to be real, bro. We got to be real here, right? So we see this slight bearish divergence forming here. We see this bearish action here, and I'm just observing this, and I'm trying to connect some dots, right? You know, like some people, they like to connect dots. So I like to connect dots as well. I'm like, do you know what? Why don't I just connect a few dots, right? And see what the market does, right, whenever we connect dots. So we can see one thing, right, when we look into this chart, go back to entire history, we can see this, how clean this chart is, right? So even if it's a bearish candle, you can see this we've got some red candles here, right? So when we zoom into this, you can see we've got red candles. We still get to see much more cleaner, like exactly where, like all of these red candles, they will easily flip into a green candle, for example. So everything here you can see green. So that's a better way of looking at things and kind of observing, right? So that's what I'm doing here. I'm saying, okay, I'm observing this. So we come up this, we have these massive bull runs and we have these massive bear runs, and then we have these situations where we have slight bearish situation and then kind of bullish as well. So I don't know, you can even see this, right? Let me show you. So this is what we see. We see bearish, bullish, bearish, bullish. kind of sideways, right? Wouldn't you call this sideways? Because I would call this all sideways here. This is all sideways. I don't see this to be anything moving any other way, right? So that's what I'm seeing, and I keep on looking at this area, and I'm like, okay, this seems to be okay. So I'm looking at these patterns, and I'm like, okay, I want to see a cleaner chart. I want to see clean patterns and see what's going on. So I'm coming into these areas, and I'm seeing, okay, these are pretty similar to what we've seen. So we've seen all this bullish action, and then it's become very, very bearish. And remember, this is on a weekly, so it's over a very long time, right? And we're seeing these patterns here. We're seeing all of these patterns here. And this is what we're expecting. Like, we have these bearish situations, and then we end up pumping, right? So I'm looking at this, and what I'm seeing is a pattern keeps on showing up to me. A pattern is that when we're down, we are down. There's no ups. But when we're down, we are down. Here, for example, we are down. We don't go up. You see how when we're down, we are down. So we end up seeing more of this red situation whenever we are down. So I kept on looking at this, and I said, okay, now I got a clear picture of exactly what's going on. I can show you guys and say, like, guys, this is the situation that we see. When we're down, we're down. There's no such thing as being up. But then I need to find a pattern, and the pattern I found was the 21-week pattern. So when we're looking at a 21-week pattern, I've mentioned this pattern before as well, and this is February 2018. You can see this, right? February 2018. What you see here is how we had 4 candles. So we had down, down, down for quite some time, and then we started pumping up, and then we started finding resistance around this HMA. So this is what we're looking at. So because we're looking at this 104-week HMA in this particular zone here, and you can see how we're finding this area, and then we keep on dumping down, and then the market keeps on going down. So when I'm looking at this, I'm like, is this a situation we're seeing right now? You know, is this a kind of a situation where you can see these, you know, bullish bearish patterns? Is this what we're seeing right now? I'm looking at this, and I see this area here, right? I'll show you this area here. So I'm ignoring all of this right now, and I see this area here. And what do I see? I see we had a long run. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, long run of red candles. When I'm looking at this and zooming into the chart, the only other time I see this is in a bear market. The only other time I see this kind of a situation, for example, in history, is here in a bear market. So I'm seeing this only happen in a bear market. What happens once we have all of these crazy movements? Well, we end up moving up. Do we have those on upsides? Yes, we do. You can see here, we also have them on upsides. So whenever we're moving up, we actually do have these patterns forming, right, every single time. So I know I'm always bullish. I always say to people, I say, what bear run? There's no bear run because the supply always reduces. But when I'm looking at this masses of candles being red, and at the end, you know, fighting a battle, and then when we have these convergence points where these moving averages, the 104-day moving average on the HMA and the average, basic moving average, when we have these crossovers, we see some crazy moves. I mean, you can see here where we dropped, and then we came up, and then we saw these crazy moves. Where are we today? Here, we dropped down, and we're fighting here. Are we going to see this 21-week moving average do a crossover and come back here? Because if it does, if we do see this line pumping up here, that's bullish. That's where it all starts. And I think this was it. This was our bear market. So maybe this time it's different. Maybe this time our bear markets that we usually see, and let's count and measure, like for example, and see how long each bear markets last for us. Maybe that will make more sense. So the previous bear market we had, say 2017 one, lasted until, let's see this, 60 bars, 1 year. That was 1 year. Okay, fine. The one before that lasted from, let's say just take it from here to here, even here for example, lasted 92, a year and a half. I'm sure you're getting the gist of what I'm about to show you, right? How long each one lasted. I mean, this one not lasted too much, but how long did they last, right? So this is like kind of the beginning ages, so I wouldn't really bother too much. 24 bars, I wouldn't bother too much about this, right? But there are some similarities. I mean, this is 2013, 2011, sorry, 2011 coming into 2012, right? So 2011, I wouldn't really count that one, but I'm seeing this, and I'm like, okay, so This is how many bars we got. And so far, it seems to be we're reducing bars. So this was 90, this is 60. And remember, this is just an approximation, 60. What's going on here? Right, here's another one, technically a bear market. Let's call it a bear market, 28 bars. So did we just have our bear market? That's what I'm thinking, right? So I'm just trying to kind of get myself together and like, okay, did we just see the bear market? Was this it? Is this a reduction in how the market's moving? So I'm constantly asking myself this question. And is this the beginning of something else? Now, while we're on this chart, I'm going to move on to another chart right now. So I want to show you other stuff as well. I'm looking at this stochastic RSI. And this is on a daily. So we're looking at this blue line and red line is stochastic RSI. The yellow line is RSI. If I take this line off, and I take this line off just for a second because I was measuring the stochastic, this is what we see here. And we usually know whenever we see a pattern forming that is similar to this, we end up seeing a breakout. So we can see we're actually on the trend line. So we're on the verge of breaking out of this line. And to break out, all we have to do is get out of this line and come above this line and confirm. And what I mean by this line is this line. And I realized I didn't show you my cursor. This line. So there's my cursor, you can see, and this is what I'm looking at. If we can break this neckline, we're reversing, and this trend line here, we're reversing. This is all awesome, right? You know what I mean? So this is on a daily. But here's the warning that I want to give you. This is the warning I want to give you. There's a warning in this. So there's daily, shorter time frame, everything looking super solid. But look at this. You can see this line here, and you can see this RSI here. It's not super bullish. So I'm going to be cautious right now, especially anyone who wants to trade. And this is going to be a warning for the traders. And the way I'm going to do this is very simple. I'm just going to put this here. Right? I'm just going to put this here. Actually, I should have put it here, but even then I'll leave it here. Actually, I'll leave it here. If this line keeps on continue to coming down, then we have another good few more weeks, at least another 2-3 weeks. So you see, all of this is indicating it's coming down. So we actually have a few more weeks of possible downtrend before reversing up. Because it's pretty rare for us to see midpoint. It's pretty rare for us to actually reverse trend on a midpoint. So this was once we did it, right, which was back in 2020. If you look carefully, right, I mean, here there was a few times, but then again, we did come down as low as this. We came close to this. I wouldn't even use this. Here there was one in 2016 where we did reverse midway. So you can say this is midway, right? We did reverse, right? And there's not really much there if you look carefully. So when I was looking at all of this, observing the market, I'm like, okay, can we see another 2-3 weeks here? Or can we actually flip bullish and then shoot up? So this was something I wanted to show you, and you know, how everything's looking. Also, if you look at the MACD, you can see on the MACD we've got this slight bearish divergence. Doesn't look good. I'll be honest with you, it doesn't look good. Bearish on us. Also, let me see what's going on, because I'm hearing some sort of a noise. I'm not sure what kind of a noise it was, what noise is being made from. But anyway, I hope you're still on the stream. I hope the stream is still there. Anyway, so that's what's going on. Now, looking at the daily, right, there's more data here as well that you need to observe. So I know we talked about how we need to invalidate certain candles, right? So obviously for us to be totally bullish again, we need to invalidate this candle here, for example, right? This is the candle that we need to invalidate. But on the good thing, what you can see is we do have this. So for example, if we were to break this trend line, then we need to get ourselves along the 45,900, so almost 46,000. 46,000, that's where we need to go in order for us to kind of invalidate all of this. So even though, of course, we want to beat this candle, so we've just done this today, this we're going to do tomorrow, whatever, but ultimately this is when we should be bullish. But up to here, this could all be a trap, guys. So what I want you guys to do, understand, this could all be a trap. All of this area could be a trap. Of course, it's moving up, but we're not there yet because of the amount of dumps we had. So just as a warning, especially this warning, as I said, it's not for the hodlers. Anyone who's hodling, you're fine. But if you're trading, be prepared. have your stop loss, have your trailing stops, whatever you need to. If you are trading, what you need to do is make sure that you understand that this could easily dump tomorrow. Monday morning, this could dump. So just be careful. I don't see anything happening. I mean, it will be a surprise if Monday morning it doesn't. But so far, everything is indicating to me something's not right. It hasn't turned 100% bullish yet, and because I'm confirming this with this. So this hasn't squeezed in. I want to see a nice little squeeze here. I want to see this pattern forming like this, you know, coming into this line and then flipping over and going over there. That's what I want to see on this particular area. Do you know what I mean? That's what I want to see, and I haven't seen that yet. You know, I haven't seen that yet. So that's very important for us. I want to see this blue line moving upwards like this. That's what I want to see. I want to see this red line follow later on. That's what I want to see. So very important for everybody to understand all of this data and what it really means, right? Because it's not something that, you know, we can discard, even though we are super bullish long term, right? So long term, of course, somebody asked me the other day, is it a good time to FOMO in? I'm like, bro, it's a good time to FOMO in any day, because what Bitcoin's going to do in the future. But as I always say to people, we're not moon boys here. We only meet the targets first before we move anywhere. And this is what I'm seeing right now. Yes, everything looking cool, but was this the bear market? And if this is, then are we going to be bullish? And if we are, when are we going to be bullish? And right now, everything here is telling me, unless we have a miracle, we're not going to be bullish. Yes, OC, you have to be extremely careful, bro, because what I'm seeing here right now, it's not the end. I don't think we're ready. So I think the next candle we might print, so this is, let me draw it for you so you'll understand exactly how what I see on the chart, right? And it will make so much more sense. So this white line here is the 21-week moving average. Very simple. This is the 50-week moving average. So as long as we're above the 50-week, we are solid. That's fine. We are definitely bullish. That's fine. This is a 21-week confidence line. Think about it as a confidence line. And this is the 104-week. What we need to do is print a candle above this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to print some candles for you, what I see. So this is the current price we have, which is a low, which is a lower low, you can see. So imagine next week, so Monday, we open up a candle and we create a new fresh candle for ourselves. And I'm going to try and make myself a candle here. We create a candle and we even come up to as high as this. So let's create a candle. Let's change the color and try and match it, right? So actually, let's keep it different so you know what this is. So, okay, we've got a candle here and we're doing awesome here, super awesome here. The candle's super sick, right? We're going up, we're pumping. That's only 1 week. HMA is still up there. We need to then get another candle and do this. You know, get another candle and do this. Eventually, until we break up. So all of this is telling us we've got 3 weeks. But on the downside, we do have a risk. And the risk is that we might have this candle, but then we might actually get one of these candles here, for example. And let me change the color for this one. Right? We might get one of these candles. So if this candle doesn't turn green, if this next 3 weeks is not bullish, well, we could easily have a bearish candle here. And the bearish candle could continue. So we could easily go down a little bit more to that 50 week. And if we did go to that 50 week, 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever you want to call it, you can see this bearish bullish pattern. And we're too close, you know. So, I mean, the probability right now for it to go up is a lot more, but what I'm talking about here, the probability of the time frame is a lot higher. So that means we have to wait a little bit longer. So that's why if you are trading, doing some longs, just be careful. That's all I'm going to say, because everything here is suggesting that we might actually not be as positive as it is because of all the other indicators that we have, indicating that no, we're going into that bearish zone right now. So yeah, I mean, I've shown this, right? Also here, I've shown you, like, for example, where we are. So obviously we looked at this on a weekly, right? So we were looking at it on a weekly. If you look at it on a daily, you see this situation here. As I said, we've got this crazy situation here, this pattern here, where we need to cross over this line in order for us to be bullish again. So even though everything here over a long term is really, really cool, but you have to be very cautious. Very cautious. And you can see how this is also showing it on the chart as well. Can you see this blue line? Don't know if you could see this blue line. Let me see if I can get that blue line for you. Give me a second. So that's blue line. This one. Let's make it nice and bold and thick for you, so you can see what I'm talking about when I'm talking. Look at this. Can you see the blue line? It was positive. All of this was positive, and then it flipped. Can you see this? It flipped. That's what's telling me that for the next few days, it is not bullish at all. Okay, so please be warned that I have told you that it is not bullish at all. This blue line flipping downwards from here has been indicating that we're going down. So everything looks good on the surface, but we should always kind of stay calm and understand the market for what it is. And the market is telling us that, guys, we're not ready yet. So regardless how bullish it looks, it's saying, guys, we're not ready. So please do understand that. What was I doing here? Nothing actually. Okay, here's a good chart as well. I want to show you. Same again. So we've got this on the hourly, and you can see on the 4 hourly we're looking super awesome. But I want to show you this one zone here. What I want to do, let me get rid of the drawings, because there's a lot of drawings here, guys. Let me get rid of the drawings. Okay, let's just keep it a nice and clean chart. So this is on a stochastic RSI. You've got the stochastic RSI, you've got the RSI here, and you've got what's known as the MACD with the stochastic RSI here. This is MACD as well, so I'm just using a combo here. And I'm looking at the pattern, and I'm looking at where we are. So these lines here are all moving averages. And you can see this zone here where we are. So I'm going to get rid of this for now. So I just want to focus on this area here. So this is on the hourly. You can see on the hourly we are below this zone, and then we broke up, and we've started to move up, which is good. But you can see this is not much of a data for us to move on. But if you look on the better data, this area here, for example, so if we look at this sideways channel here, so this sideways channel here, and I'll change the thing over a little bit. Give me a second. Yeah, that should be good enough. There you go. So if you look at this sideways data, you see that we've had this pump. We're kind of, so we got rejected 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times we've been rejected trying to beat this level here. 5 times trying to beat this candle, 5 times. So far we've managed to stay there, and this candle closes in the next 17 minutes. It is attempting, but masses of rejections. And you know, when I'm talking about that one candle, well, it's this one candle here. We need to beat this one candle here for us to be bullish. And when we do, we end up seeing one of these, which is something we have not seen for a very long time. I call it the Batman signal. Right, this is the Batman signal, which is pretty awesome. But obviously, normally when I would draw one, I would just say, I'll just draw it like this. I would just go boom, 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 boom. Looks super solid. Looks super solid. But is it coming? That's the question. Do you know what I mean? Because I also see a few other patterns here as well forming here, which don't look that great. Okay, one of the other patterns you can see on the hourly, which is a longer time frame, is this, and that's usually, all right, a bearish pattern. See this? Like we might see this area here, bearish pattern. So yeah, all I'm saying is just be cautious, especially the traders. Long term, of course, we're going to go up there. Short term, be careful. Doesn't look right. This doesn't look right. Let's move over to a slightly higher time frame. What do we see here? And this tells us, look, this is where it doesn't look right. VW for win, absolutely. But look, on the higher time frame, you can see we're not, this doesn't look right. You see this, all these moving averages, we are actually below every single moving average. Can you see this? Apart from this, so this candle did break past all of this, and it's found rejection here. For us to be totally bullish, right, what we need is the lines to be below. So are we in a bullish trend? No, we're still in this bearish trend. And what is this bearish trend? We can also remember, we can also always put one of these on and see where we are. Look, we're finding resistance on this exact line, and we can change this to a line chart to confirm all of this for us. There you go. We're finding resistance bang on this line. Do you know what I mean? So I just hope all of this makes sense to everybody. So I know there's a lot of guys excited about doing trades and whatnot and this and that. I'm like, guys, you've got to be really careful. For us to be super solid, we need the lines to be below us. So I'm trying to explain it in layman's terms, right? We need all of these moving averages to be below us, right? Not above us. And so far, we're finding resistance. We might break. So this could be an easy breakout, which would be awesome to see. And in fact, if we look at the higher time frame, having all of these downward trends, so having all of this area coming down all the way up here, so for example, down, 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 up to here, doing this, and then maybe doing this, or maybe going up, is great. But now we have another problem on a higher time frame, which is this area here. For example, you look at this. This is our neckline. So whatever we do, we need to do, if we are going to do this pattern, which is a double bottom pattern, for example, or even actually, let's not do it this way. Let's just take it from here just to simplify things, right? We need to break above this line for us to continue. If we don't, we will easily get a rejection and come back down here. That's what I'm saying. So be cautious. It doesn't look all happy days. So you don't see many of these videos, but I do make them every now and then. When I think it doesn't look right, I have to warn you guys. Nothing looks right. Everything looks a bit bullish, but actually overall, over a larger period of time, it's not bullish at all. See how far we are? See these moving averages? Look where we are. This is the last moving average. Can you see this? And we're way below this last moving average. So I hope this kind of makes sense to you guys, that what we have to do. Do you know what I mean? I mean, if I look at the daily, then it's telling me that we have to get to the 45,500 to be slightly bullish. Until then, this is where we are. Still very, very bearish. We're nowhere there. Exactly. Look, I'm not a skeptic, but I'm just stating the facts, what I'm seeing, right? So I gotta obviously tell my audience that, guys, you gotta be careful what you're doing, and you can see where we are right now. So we're on a daily, and you can see these patterns here, right? And you know what these patterns mean. We're not super bullish yet. So this could easily reverse. That's what I'm trying to say. Of course, we did set up a bottom recently. We set up a bottom. So if we look at these daily charts, and you know, if you're actually putting a range here, say for example I put a range here and I say, right, this was our bottom floor, right? Recently our floor was around this $28,000 level. It's okay, we're way above that, so that's super bullish, right? Great, not a problem. Then we can see we had this recent top neckline and we broke that. That actually confirmed that we are bullish as well. So when you look at this area here, for example, this recent neckline here, so this neckline here that we had, we broke that neckline and we're finding support. You can see this, right? So we broke this neckline and we're finding support, so we do not invalidate this. Everything's super awesome. If we did come down, on the way down, we can see this area here, which becomes our new support, right? This area here, and I'm going to do this, so I want to just push it forward. Right, this area here, you can see that we've had previous resistance and fights, battles on this area. In fact, to the point where we've actually literally, if you take it back, you can see that this area was a battleground. Even back then, look, even back then. So you can see this, how this data isn't just new data. This is actually finding support and everything on old data. So for all of this to be completely shitty, excuse my language, we would have to come down to the $37,000. Looking good, but is the $37,000 out of question? No, because remember, and let me bring you this chart, something, I'm not sure what's going on. I'm hearing a ping. I don't know what the ping is. And I've noticed the stream is messing around every now and then. I think it's some connectivity. But anyway, so you can see this area here, this box here, you can see 38,000. So we drew this box, and remember, this is a weekly box. This range was drawn on a week. And let me see what's going on. What is this? I see what's going on. So the pings I'm listening to, because I hear a ping, and I'm like, what's that ping coming from? So every time OC says something, I get a ping. That's awesome, awesome, awesome. That means I know who's chatting, who's not. Awesome. So the chat is actually working today. I was like, I can see the chat. What's going on? Why is there a ping? Um, OC says, appreciate the warning though. For example, will be way more careful with my trades and do a few less on which I'm less confident. I think every time you hear a ping is a notification for your stream disconnecting. No, it's not disconnecting. It's the chat. So that's all good. The stream didn't disconnect. Everything's been good here. So yeah, as you can see, we drew this box previously, and based on this box where we are right now. Now, everything for me over a longer period of time, so when I'm looking at this at a longer time frame, I'm saying this is bullish. This is super, super bullish. Super bullish, right? And what do I mean by super bullish? Well, I'll tell you what I mean by super bullish. Actually, I'll show you what I mean by super bullish, because we did have it on a chart, and we just didn't bother talking too much about it, right? But it's always been there. And I just want to show you this. Let me bring this in. Forget the so ignore these for now. We're going to get to those in the future, but this is the weekly support box. You can see the worst case scenario, so I put worst low. This is the worst case scenario, but this is the weekly support range, right? So provided we can stay on this weekly support range, this area zone here, we're actually fine. This doesn't change anything. So but if we do break below this, then I'll be a little bit worried. Do you know what I mean? Because remember, we have this longer time trend line here. We don't want to get back into this. And if we do, then this is a bear market continuation where we are right now and what we are doing right now. In this chart, you can see I didn't draw this today. This was already drawn. We've got this range we need to break into and then move crossover. And even this is confirming that we need to get above this, well, we need to get above 50,000, definitely, whatever happens. So let's see what this does. That should be something to look at. So yeah, I mean, all of this crazy stuff, drawing candles and everything, of course, you know, there's two patterns here, guys. You can see we can either move up or we can either move down. Either way, we've got these two moving average resistance lines that we have to break. We either break this or we either break this. We break this, we go bearish 6 months, maybe a year, stick around. You know, we break this, then we're going on another parabolic pump, and we can see what these parabolic pumps do for us over a larger period of time. You can see what these days do for us. Thousands of percents of gain. So that's what we're looking at. So just be careful. That's all I'm warning everybody. Only for another few more weeks, and then we see where we go from there. And then things should change a little bit. Right, so let's go back into, let's have a look at other stuff as well. Yeah, so anyway, just kind of warning, as I said, coming back into this chart. Patience will prevail. Daily we are still down, as I said, so patience on that one. Now let's move into other stuff as well and see what's going on here. Get rid of all of this. So this is the entire total market cap. And we drew this a few days ago and we said, okay, this is the range we need to stay above. And you can see we did bounce exactly on that. On the 21st of September, we bounced exactly on that. But if we look at it on a larger time frame, it gets even more awesome. On a larger time frame, what you see is pretty insane. I'm going to move this to the left a little bit just to show you. Look at this. Can you see this? On the larger time frame, we bounced on a weekly. We bounced exactly on this particular level, right? And then we recovered. So you can see this whole thing here, which is insane to see. So this range again is similar to our the 50 year, and that would be bad for us. You know, this is a bear run, bear market, 6 months to a year. Stick around. So yeah, all doom and gloom here today. Nothing. I'm not giving you guys anything to be happy about because it is what it is. Just gotta take it for what it is. You know, it's not just simple stuff like, oh guys, we're always going to the moon. No, sometimes the reality is we're not going to the moon. Not yet, at least. Okay, not yet. Ethereum following the same pattern. Ethereum doing the same thing as Bitcoin. Nothing too fascinating here. Again, same. Look at this. We need to get back above this line. Whatever we do. If we don't, then doesn't change anything. We have so little data, it doesn't change anything. You see what I mean? It just doesn't change anything. So we need to get into this zone, break above. This is a symmetrical triangle. It doesn't decide. This is an undecisive area. We don't decide anything. This is a symmetrical triangle. It's neither bullish, neither bearish. It has a 50-50 chance of going up, going down. That's bad. So we need to observe this. let me have a look at, and I'll have a look at the chats as well, see what's going on. Dot is going to do something next month, so let's see if Dot can push the market. That should be really, really cool. Solana had a big dump today, but most of the Solana money ended up in BTC, so I'm not going to talk about that. Cardano had the announcements yesterday, and Cardano started pumping. Awesome. And you can see immediately, as soon as they pumped it a little bit, they took the money out. So boys who are pumping it here, big boys pumping it here, getting all the hype and everything, and then basically they just dump. That's pretty much how the market works. EGOD recovered quite a bit today, which I'm quite happy, because I have it was a recent dump. I did mention to you guys that I was thinking about getting some more, so I picked up a few more, just for my stash. Nothing too big, just for my stash. And I'm actually planning to do some development work on this as well, so I want to work on this one and see, you know, how the technology works. So I bought some just to kind of work on the technology, nothing more. But super solid. I'm quite happy with this, and now you can see it's built this healthier trend line, and if this trend line continues, then we are awesome. EGOD has a very good potential to go to the moon, so we're going to wait for this one, see what that does for us. That would be really insane to see. What's the next one we're going to see? AVAX. I'm also planning to do some work on AVAX, kind of experimenting. I want to see what AVAX can do for me. But I've always been bullish on this one. These are one of those ones I've said, look, it's not ready, just buy it and leave it. I've said that months ago, if not almost a year ago. So that's a different story. AVAX again, doing okay. A few profits taken, put into BTC, nothing too much. But still, we're here, which is fine. You know, if you look at this low, we're still got a higher low. So technically, even though this is a lower low, sorry, a higher low, lower low, but still higher than this. So ultimately, it's a higher low. Full stop. So far so good. I wouldn't bother too much. Now, what was the questions? Let's have a look. OC says, make plan, want to play. Okay, I thought I'll day trade and put all my profits into BTC every time as a long-term investment. That's what you should be doing, and keep my money to keep. There's no ifs and buts about that. Protect your initial investment. Okay, let's get into this. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. I think there is a disconnection. I'm not sure why we're getting disconnected. But anyway, let's just talk about this. So the number one thing you have to really understand is that, you know, whatever money you're making, you need to have a long-term goal. So whether it's BTC, USD, whatever it is, it doesn't matter what it is. But you need to figure that out. That's something that nobody can advise to you. You have an asset. You want to buy a house, you save it for a house. You want to buy BTC, buy BTC. But as I said, your important thing to do is make sure your initial investment is protected. Okay, so if you put $100 in, or $1,000 or $1 million, what you have to do is make sure you have that money out of the program. Call it a program. So you take that out and then you play with your profits. So grow your wealth with your profits, not with your initial. Your initial is just what you start off with. Okay, and that way you'll be okay. So it doesn't matter what direction the market goes, you can always trade. XRP, you want to know about XRP? XRP has, with the case and everything, obviously XRP gets a lot of attention. So, you know, when the case goes in, everyone starts like pumping it and dumping it. So there's a lot of news surrounding XRP. I've mentioned many times regarding what XRP really is. XRP is not Ripple. I've even proven it to someone else as well recently as well. XRP is not Ripple. Ripple, the company, is doing fantastic. They don't have any issues. They actually operate with 200 different banks in the world. They are a premium banking cryptocurrency. When it comes to XRP, this is a speculative crypto for the public, for the masses. This does not give you any rights over Ripple. And a lot of people have bought it when it was pennies. There's a lot of whales in there. We call them the XRP army. Masses of fans of XRP. Everything is awesome. But I'm not one of those who's really excited about XRP because of how the founders are and everything. Like they own quite a significant amount of coins. That doesn't make me happy. And this is one of the reasons why they've even been called into courts. But if you've bought it cheap and you're making money on it, go for it. Why not? I mean, I've bought it at some point and I've sold it at some point. You know what I mean? So there's no harm in having your own, picking a coin that does anything for you. No harm at all. If the coin's making you money, why not? Doesn't matter what it is. But what I always say is, remember guys, when we at these levels, and let me bring another chart for you. Actually, I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to clean all of this, and I'm going to take some of this off because I want to bring something else in here. Give me a second. Let me get rid of all of this because I just want to bring one indicator here, nothing more. Just want to bring one specific indicator, nothing too big, nothing too much, just a simple indicator. And what I say to people is, look, when we come into these zones, so right now is a good opportunity to buy Bitcoin, altcoin, or anything. It doesn't matter, right? Some coins are going to pump, some coins are not going to pump. That's fine if you're thinking about trading XRP, but I want to show you the market to understand how the market works. So here's a good example, right? Market pumps. What does XRP do? Let's go back in time and let's see what XRP does. It also pumps. So you see what I'm trying to say? When everything pumps, it also pumps. BTC pumps, it also pumps. So as an indicator, we can use this as an indicator for what the market's going to do. Right now is a good area to accumulate. If XRP wins the case or whatever in the future, XRP could pump up. Because remember, I'll give a good example. Let's find a date on XRP. So whatever chart I found, let's find a date. Let's see this date here. This was May 2017. So let's use this low here, July 2017. So if we use July 2017, here you go, July 2017. So XRP was down here and it pumped with it. Okay, it pumped with the entire market. So we were down here, July, you can see here, and this is the same as XRP here, and it pumped because market topped out. When the market goes parabolic, everything goes parabolic. Then BTC dumped. So during here, BTC was $2,000. It dumped and it was $3,500, or about $3,500 approximately. XRP does the same thing, pumps from 11 cents, pumps all the way to $3.36 on this chart, but I know it was a lot more, 36, and then it dumps down to 25 cents, and then we have the March 2020 dump when it goes back to 10 cents. So what you're seeing is previously it was here and then it pumped all the way up to here while BTC was pumping, the market was pumping, and then when it decided to have suffer the dump with everybody else, it actually went lower than its previous low. So is this a coin I really want to be in? Whereas I can show you the same maths here. For example, we started off here, we pumped all the way up to here, sorry, my bad, we pumped all the way up to here, so this line here, and when we dumped we went all the way up here. So if that makes any sense to you, so our dump was still higher than our previous thing. So this is the things you need to really understand is, are you prepared to pick up some XRP, trade on some XRP, and if XRP in the future has a low, and if the low comes back to these lows, are you prepared for that? That's all I'm asking, nothing else. Buy, trade, make money, happy days. But what do we see? We see that it went from 10 cents, pumped all the way up there, and then dropped, so this was 12 cents, actually, my bad, 12 cents, and it dropped all the way back to 10 cents. So it was lower than the previous low. That's risky. That's very risky, very risky. So these are the things you also need to understand. These are technically fundamentals, right? You need to understand this. Are you going to be able to, buy around here, and then in the future, if it dumps and it comes back down here, are you going to be okay with that? Because these dumps are not small dumps. I mean, we can measure the dump. Let's measure this dump from here all the way down here, right? 96% dump. There you go, 96%. So from the top to here, 96%. Let's do the same thing here and measure this area and do this. So this is on the chart, so you can see that I'm not really making anything up here. This is exactly what it is. So we come back to the same date. So we're looking at the same date. Actually, let me check. I'm not being fair. Let me change it. Change the candle. There you go. Now you can see the same color candles. same date. And what do we see? 79%. So we see an 80% dump here from the high to the low, but we see a 96% dump on the other one. So this is what it is. This is why, like, when we talk about spot trading, we say, look, it's your asset, you can hold it. Of course you can hold XRP, it's not a problem, but your rec potential is a lot higher. Your profit making potential is a lot higher. So your risk to reward is always high. That I can assure you. Your risk to reward is definitely high, because, for example, here, when it went from nothing to here, right, the pump was a 2,396%. Of course the reward was very high, but being wrecked was also high as well. When you do BTC, the reward, right, let's look at the reward from that one date to there, right, the reward wasn't as high. You can see we had 949% pump. So when you look at that, you can see that the XRP, or any altcoin to be precise, because it's the truth, all the altcoins have masses of potential to outperform Bitcoin, right? But when they dump, they also outperform Bitcoin with a bigger dump. So that's what I'm saying. Just understand where it is. Like, it's not the safest to be trading something, especially when the market's coming here and heating up. Because if this could easily turn into something like this, you know what I mean? And this is what I'm worried about, and what I'm trying to warn people. And like, guys, understand, this could turn out to be very similar to any one of these situations. Over time, are we going to go up? Absolutely. But is it the best time to jump into this and then move around? Maybe not. You know, are we going to be seeing something duplicate similar to this? Are we seeing this? Well, based on the maths we did, like, for example, let's do this, right? So we had the market top here, and we decided to so market top, and then the last candle that confirmed and went back above the range was here. So we had 27 weeks, right? So this is 27 weeks, which is 6 months. If I use 6 months on this chart, if we come back here and use 6 months from the top, so let's use 6 months from the top, this top here to 6 months, 27 bars, and yeah, 27 bars up to here, 27 bars. Well, this is brings you to, and I'll put a line there just to show you, boom, 18th of October. It brings you back to the 18th of October. So I hope this kind of makes sense. I hope you will see what I just showed you here. You know, it brings you to the 18th of October. So this is based on where we were. Now, on the 18th of October, what do we have to do? What do we have to do on the 18th of October? Well, very simple. We have to print one single candle here, which is above the line. We have to print one candle above this line. Simple. That's how we know that we're going to be okay, right? Because when you look at all of this data here, you can see that we printed that one candle above. That actually gave us the confirmation that, guys, we're back in play. So all of this time we were calm. Why? Because we know that this is exactly playing out similar to what's been happening here. So history doesn't repeat, but history does rhyme, and this looks very similar to the history. Do you know what I mean? I mean, everything was very similar. If you look here as well, look at, so if you count 1, 2, 3, 4 lines, just count that, 4 lines, and we got rejected, and we come back into a current, right? Current, look, history doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. Come back into the current time. What do we see? 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Just below the 4. So we didn't even touch the 4, just below. History doesn't repeat, but it does rhyme. And you can see here clearly demonstrated how this is pretty much a match to the 2013. Exactly. So there's a lot of people, their patience will be put at test. You know, this is all patience now. This is all patience. So we have to see what it does. But as I say to many people, and I know you may not understand what I say, because I do kind of sometimes say things mumbo jumbo. So let me get rid of all of this. Let me bring Ethereum, because I have to bring Ethereum for this one. So I know a lot of people, they say, oh, they use Ethereum as an indicator for the altcoin. If Ethereum pumps, altcoins pump. I don't use that. I use Ethereum to confirm what Bitcoin is doing. So I use an Ethereum chart to confirm what Bitcoin is doing. And then if Bitcoin is doing this, I can confidently say what the altcoins are going to do. Because the whole thing, it doesn't matter. I'll give a good example. It doesn't matter if your altcoin launches today and pumps to 1,000,000%. It doesn't matter if there's not 1,000,000 user, right? So who cares if it goes to 1,000,000%? That's easily a pump and dump scheme, or most probably a scam. And I always say they're a scam until they're not, right? So anyone could manipulate and launch a coin and pump it up to 1,000,000%. Happy days. If you made some money there, great, good luck on you. You've got to be able to dump it as fast as you can. So that's what that is. But this tells me, are we in the market? Are we actually in a bull run? Because there's no other way of confirming what a bull run is. This is a good way of indicating, are we in a bull run? And when we see these kind of moves, and when we move over to Ethereum, and we see Ethereum also did this as well, we can then tell ourselves that, yes, this is confirmed. This was a bull run. We can confirm that this was a bull run. Everything here is confirming this was a bull run. Happy days. Where are we now? We're down here. Is this confirming here? Yeah, look. Don't make it up. It's there. So this is a good indicator to tell me, is the market cycle still active or not? What's the market cycle doing right now? And I've told you many times, whenever we go above this blue line, we seem to go mental, right? And we've done it here. We've proved it here. We went mental. When we didn't here, for example, no one even talked about 2019. It was a dead year. But actually, we had a bull run here. Why didn't anyone talk about the bull run here? We had a bull run here because we didn't cross over this blue line. When did we cross over the blue line? Last time, for example, here in 2017. As soon as we crossed over the blue line, boom, we just shot up. Do you know what I mean? Every time we cross over this blue line, this is the median line, that's when we go insane, right? So it's a key level for us to understand that, okay, whenever we go above the blue line, that's when we do a market top. We don't do a market top, right? We don't do a market top midway, like some people like to say, oh, this was a market top. Maybe a local market top, but not a market top. Market tops are usually to the top. And this line, by the way, this is not the definition of a top. This line is adjustable. A top could go anywhere. Also, this bottom is not a definition of a bottom. It's not the absolute of a bottom. This bottom could go anywhere. We could easily go all the way from here, for example, where we are right now, pump all the way up to this level here, or even more, or go to the moon. There's no stopping us. This line does not mean it's an absolute. It will adjust to where the top is. But this is not the top. And when we look at bottoms, I know a lot of people want to talk about bottoms. Well, from this very same level, the bottom could go all the way down to the void, never to be seen again, the depths of hell. And no one's even going to know about it. There's no limit to the bottom. If that makes any sense. But there's no limit to the bottom, guys. Right? We don't have a limit to the top. We don't have a limit to the bottom. That's the reality, except for what it is. We don't need to go argue over it. Oh, that's the bottom. Or these are just local tops, local bottoms. These are just levels that we create over time in order to create resistance and support zones. You know, like when we look at this area here, we can see we've created this lovely little support zone here. You can see we've got this massive resistance zone here from all of this. So we have a resistance forming from February all the way to May. That's massive. If we can break this, then this becomes our new support in the future. So that means in the future, we might not see BTC drop below 65. I mean, hooray. You know what I mean? So just understand it for what it is. You know, let's not be over optimistic or over pessimistic. Ultimately, the point is there's no such thing as a floor and there's no such thing as a top. All we know is we have 21 million coins. We have 18.82 million coins already done. Or 18.8 million coins already out. We have 2.2 million remaining. The last coin will come in year 2140. That's all we know. We know adoption is happening faster than it ever did. We know we had adoption. So from here, a bunch of handful of people in a forum, maybe a few hundred people using it, to a few thousand people using it, to a few million people using it, to close to 100 million people using it. And then since then we haven't seen any more growth. Very small amounts of growth. And here, right now, not even here we see hundreds of millions of people using it. So you see how the growth just went exponential here, not here, none of this. We only had, up to here, we only had 100 million users. Now we have over 200 million users and counting and growing fast at a rapid rate. We also look at on-chain data, and I know a lot of people talk about on-chain. I talk about it sometimes, not all the time. Looking at on-chain, what do we see? We see that we've got more people holding 1,000 Bitcoin than ever before. Here, right now, here, not here, here, not here, here. Do you know what I mean? What does this all indicate to us? That this could be this was the local bottom. This could be the beginning of something else. So, is it finished? No. Is it finished? No. And, what's the lowest we can go? Well, we can go low to the depths of hell and never come back. Do you know what I mean? This is a belief system. This is a monetary system based on trust or trustlessness, right? We don't need a central party to do this. But we do know some facts on the thing. As we said, we know there's 21 million coins ever going to be. 2140 is the last coin. Adoptions here, everything's here. We can see what's happening, and we can see who are trying to sell to them. And what I mean by that, I mean, for God's sake, PayPal wants to sell to its customers. So does PayPal buy just buy it from a local exchange and then sell it? No, PayPal buys and stores it. We see people like Grayscale BTC. They are selling it to their clients as a trust fund, but they're holding the actual physical coin. Do you know what I mean? We see Goldman Sachs recently, they were doing an ETF type of a thing for their institution investors. And they had collateral, actual Bitcoin. So we're seeing this constantly where we have, companies are providing solutions, but the collateral is the real Bitcoin. Do you know what I mean? Is the real Bitcoin. So, yeah, I mean, I've shown you this before as well. I said, look at the growth. I don't see it moving any other direction so far. And also, if I take all of this off, take even this off, right? Then all I'm seeing is how we were here and we're here now. And I don't see this thing ever coming back down. I never see the lows again, if that makes any sense. I don't see those lows again. So, the lows we had down here somewhere, obviously stupid chart, but I'll show you the lows we've had here, and we can put lines on it. Let's try and see if we can hit those. So we'll ignore that area. Let's see if we can hit those lines again at some time in the future, right? No, look, we can constantly do lows and still never hit those. Do you know what I mean? Never hit those. So we're let's zoom out a little bit. Let's zoom out, right? Here, look, we're missing it because it's zooming out. Did we hit those lows again? Let's hit that low. Let's hit that low. No. See what I mean? We're not hitting those lows again, and that's what I'm trying to think, right? It's like all of this says to me, we're just not hitting those lows again. I mean, here's another low. Just not hitting those lows, guys. So could this be our new local low? If this is our new local low in the future, this will compress down just like everything else, become this. It will compress down like everything else, as you can see here, compress down, and BTC would be up here somewhere. Do you know what I mean? So it's one of the craziest arguments that everybody has. Like, there are believers and there are non-believers. But I'm not in either party, because as I've said, for me, what's important is that I sell by 2030 and get the hell out. That's all I see. Do you know what I mean? That's all I see. So I hope this all kind of makes sense, guys. I'm not gonna make this any longer. Everything seems super awesome. And yeah, we've got a date, and that date's been there. Remember, I showed you the date. The date was already there. It's always been on the chart. I've always had the date there. Never changed that date. It doesn't matter what kind of a candle I'm using or what kind of a measurements I'm doing. That date was already there, and you can see this for months. So other than that, guys, I'm not going to make this any longer. I hope I didn't bore everybody. I hope you found value in what you're seeing, and the warning is clear that the market may be having a little dump in the next few days. If it does, just be careful. That's what my warning is for the traders, because I know some of you guys, the new ones, that have recently kind of started crypto or started trading, you're excited about how many gains you're making, but just be careful. It's not ready. This market is not ready yet. Okay, so tomorrow morning we might see a dump. If we do, then be prepared. That's what I'm saying. Other than that, if you're holding, don't worry about it. It's a different story. We can hold forever and still win. But yeah, other than that, guys, like, share, subscribe. Adios, my amigos. It's been a pleasure, and I hope your minds are clear. And we'll probably do something different tomorrow. I don't know, but I'm not sure about my schedule tomorrow, but I'll see what I do. I might do something different. I might even start up one of those school things that we're going to do tomorrow. So let's see, we might do a recording session of that, but I gotta pre-arrange it with everybody and see if everyone's ready, because I know I had a long list of people who want to learn the charts and understand more. So like, for example, today I showed you Fibonacci, for example, which I don't normally show. I normally just do this, right? But sometimes I will flip over to Fibonacci to understand a little bit more, but I just don't like it because it doesn't give me absolute every day. It just gives me the pattern of where we are and where we're not. So it's either bullish or bearish, which is awesome. But sometimes when I'm doing trades or when I'm trying to do analysis, I need to use my daily candles to observe what the previous candles were. So this is why I don't show them on the video, but I thought I'd show it to you today. But yeah, again, I'm gonna go back to my default. But I'll teach you a little bit more about all of this stuff. We'll go through some of the stuff, and remember, learning, there's so many different stuff to learn, especially on the charts. And sometimes you just got to simplify things rather than going out there and trying to discover and watch hours and hours. We can do it in 10 lessons. So yeah, like, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you on another one very soon. Adios, my amigos. It's been an absolute pleasure.